He is 63 years old, waking early without any external obligation daily. At exactly 5:30, something unseen draws him quietly toward the silent garage. Inside waits a car untouched for over 11 years, frozen in time completely. The engine removed, body panels scattered, its form reduced to parts and memory. Coffee cans filled with bolts sit organized carefully, sorted precisely by their sizes. A worn notebook lists each missing piece, written neatly in deliberate careful handwriting. His wife has stopped asking when the car will finally be completed entirely. His children no longer joke about it, and he stopped explaining everything himself. He cannot fully explain why this project still holds him so deeply captive. This is not simply a hobby, it reaches deeper than ordinary interests alone. To understand it, we must revisit a different era of American cultural history. A time when cars symbolized proof, not merely machines for transportation purposes only. They proved the country worked, and labor carried real visible meaning then. They showed something built by human hands could become the finest object anywhere. This meaning began forming strongly during the late 1950s and 60s. During that era, automobiles became central symbols of post-war prosperity across America. The interstate highways stretched wide, connecting cities and enabling expansion beyond limits. Suburbs spread outward quickly, like ink flowing freely across blank paper surfaces. Driveways became stages where families displayed success, progress, and newly earned stability. What sat there communicated status without words, telling neighbors everything that mattered. Families who survived hardship now celebrated resilience through chrome and powerful engines proudly. Tail fins rose upward dramatically, as if reaching toward endless possibilities above. Children growing up there absorbed deeper meanings attached to physical objects daily. They learned machines held character, dignity, and reflected personal responsibility and care. Maintaining a car showed discipline, not vanity, proving seriousness about life itself. Saturday mornings were dedicated to maintenance, not sleeping late or wasting time. Driveways became places of oil changes, waxing, and silent rituals of care. These rituals were never labeled emotional, yet everyone understood their deeper significance. They functioned as expressions of love, communicated through action rather than spoken language. Boys observed fathers working quietly, learning meaning through observation instead of explanation. Fathers leaned into engine bays with focus, like others leaning into conversations deeply. The garage became a place where emotions settled when words could not carry. Many fathers returned from wars carrying experiences they could never clearly express. The car offered something stable, something predictable, something that responded to attention reliably. Unlike life's chaos, machines followed rules that could be understood and controlled. This balance did not last as the 1970s disrupted everything. Suddenly, the oil embargo of 1973 triggered more than economic instability nationwide. It fractured identity for those who tied meaning closely to automobiles themselves. Gas shortages created long lines, stretching endlessly around crowded city blocks everywhere. Muscle cars once admired became symbols of excess and public embarrassment suddenly. Manufacturers responded by shrinking engines, reducing power, and altering designs significantly afterward. Cars emerging then seemed smaller, slower, almost apologetic in their overall presence. They reflected a nation losing confidence, unsure of its former strength anymore. At the same time, factories producing those cars began closing across regions rapidly. The Rust Belt was not symbolic yet, it was lived daily reality. It meant fathers coming home early because shifts were suddenly canceled without warning. Then cancellations became permanent, leaving uncertainty where stability once firmly existed before. Factories turned into empty buildings, their broken windows reflecting economic collapse quietly. Communities watched industries vanish, taking pride and purpose along with them entirely. An entire generation witnessed the system validating their father's labor disappear completely. Work once rooted in creating tangible things shifted toward abstract service-based roles. These new jobs produced outcomes, yet nothing physical remained at day's end. There was no object to hold, no visible proof of effort anymore. This absence created a wound still being addressed decades later inside garages. When older men restore cars, they are revisiting meaningful moments from earlier life. They return to times when the world felt understandable and structured clearly. Skill had visible value, and patience produced results people could actually see. Knowing mechanical work meant possessing knowledge others respected and recognized immediately then. Restoration reconnects them to that clarity, that sense of identity and worth. It rebuilds something lost when the world's rules quietly changed over time. Psychologists studying nostalgia reveal it is not simply longing for happiness alone. Instead, nostalgia emerges strongest when the present feels fragmented and deeply confusing. People reach backward when current realities no longer follow familiar, meaningful patterns. Old rules disappear, while new ones fail to reward previous skills consistently. Nostalgia responds by reconnecting identity across time, restoring personal continuity again. It reminds individuals they once understood themselves within a stable, coherent world. That remembered version of life was real, not imagined or exaggerated falsely. The restored car becomes a time machine built from patience and steel. It carries memory, meaning, and identity across years of personal change silently. Yet, many outsiders misunderstand these men and their intentions completely and consistently. They assume restoration reflects being stuck, unable to move forward in life. Some believe it represents avoidance of present responsibilities or meaningful relationships entirely. They view it as sadness, spending retirement isolated inside garages, instead exploring. But this interpretation is not accurate. It reverses the truth almost entirely. Restoration is not avoidance. It is a process of integration and completion. Many of these men spent decades working careers producing no tangible physical results. Their efforts existed in reports, meetings, spreadsheets, leaving nothing lasting behind physically. The work mattered, yet produced no object they could truly hold afterward. Restoration becomes a correction, a deliberate act of creating something real again. It allows them to build something visible, solid, and permanently present physically. Something that remains after emails vanish, and documents are eventually forgotten completely. This act restores a sense of authorship over something meaningful and lasting. There is also a deeper layer involving psychological inheritance rather than financial legacy. These cars often connect to specific years tied to powerful personal memories. Perhaps it was a father's car or a pivotal moment in youth, a summer before change, a first job, or a deeply felt loss. The chosen car is never random. It targets a precise emotional moment. Like careful surgery, it focuses exactly where meaning once formed strongly inside. Often at the center stands a father who rarely expressed feelings openly, a man shaped by norms where love appeared through actions, never words. Provision, maintenance, and presence replaced spoken affection within that earlier masculine culture. The restoration becomes a conversation that never fully happened between father and son. Each tightened bolt echoes movements his father once performed with quiet precision. Selecting correct paint becomes honoring choices his father might have made himself. Doing work properly reflects the only language they ever truly shared together. The car itself is not the point. The conversation holds true meaning. When restoration finishes, something unexpected often happens quietly within the man. He does not drive it, instead keeping it safely stored inside garage. Visitors are shown carefully, almost reverently, as though it is fragile somehow. Not mechanically fragile, but emotionally complete, representing something finally resolved within him. Driving it risks damage, wear, and slow erosion brought inevitably by time. Driving would reduce it back into an ordinary car, losing deeper meaning. It was never simply transportation. It carried memory, identity, and unspoken connection. What appears nostalgic outside is actually grief work and identity repair happening. The man is not stuck, He is finishing something words never completed.